It had been a long week for Emily Carter. Her rent was overdue. Her fridge held nothing but a half-empty bottle of orange juice, and the soles of her shoes had worn so thin she could feel every pebble on the sidewalk. Still, she straightened her blazer 2 sizes too big, borrowed from a friend, and walked into the downtown cafe with a determined smile. She had a job interview that afternoon. Marketing assistant. It wasn't glamorous, but it was something, and she needed something badly. The cafe was crowded. She scanned for a seat and spotted the last empty stool near the window, opposite a man in a gray hoodie who looked just as weary as she felt. His clothes were clean but rumpled, and he kept glancing at the menu like he was trying to do math in his head. She sat down and offered a polite smile. He nodded, distracted. "Excuse me," he finally said, with embarrassment lacing his voice. "Do you know if they take IOUs? I left my wallet." Emily looked at the counter. He had ordered nothing yet. She glanced at her phone. Her interview was still an hour away. And then she looked at her wallet. 1 crumpled dollar bill? That's all her stomach growled from skipping breakfast. But without thinking twice, she smiled and said, "Don't worry about it. I've got you covered." The man looked stunned. No, I can't. I insist," she said gently. "It's just a sandwich." She handed her last dollar to the cashier and added, "Can you give him the turkey melt special, please?" The man watched, speechless, as they waited. He finally asked, "Why'd you do that?" She hesitated, then said softly, "I've had bad days too. Sometimes all someone needs is a little kindness to make it through." He stared at her for a long moment, something unreadable in his eyes. Then he smiled. "Well, you may have just made mine." They talked a little while as he ate nothing too personal. She mentioned she had an interview and he wished her luck. She excused herself to go freshen up, and when she returned, he was gone. She walked into the skyscraper 15 minutes later, nervously adjusting her blazer. Her resume trembled slightly in her hands. "Emily Carter?" The receptionist called. "Yes," she said, trying to steady her voice. "Please follow me. Mr. Whitaker is ready for your interview." She followed the receptionist through a corridor lined with glass offices. Her heart pounded. This was her one chance. She rehearsed everything she wanted to say. The receptionist opened the door to a large, sunlit office. "Mr. Whitaker, your next interview." She stepped in and froze. Behind the sleek mahogany desk, dressed now in a tailored navy suit, sat the man she'd bought lunch for. He looked up. A slow smile spread across his face. "Miss Carter." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. He stood, buttoning his jacket. "When I said you made my day, I meant it. I'm Michael Whitaker. I took over as CEO this week. We've been conducting interviews incognito to see who people really are outside the boardroom." Emily's heart was racing. "You didn't know who I was. You didn't ask for anything. You just gave the last of what you had to a stranger." He paused. "That's the kind of person I want on my team." She blinked. "Are you serious?" He nodded. "The job is yours if you still want it." Tears filled her eyes as relief, disbelief, and overwhelming gratitude hit her all at once. She tried to speak, but all she managed was, "Yes, yes." "I do." Mr. Whitaker extended his hand. "Welcome to the company, Emily." As she shook it, her fingers still trembling, she realized something. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness unlocks the biggest doors.